Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now we are going to get right back into No Man Can Hinder Me. We're in chapter number 25, which is entitled Protests in Philadelphia. So without further ado, let us go ahead and get into chapter 25. It reads as such. Orrin and I moved to our own apartment on the 3rd floor over a store where our son, Edward III, was born. I sold my Essex, bought a 1941 Dodge, and made my insurance rounds, burning 35 cents a gallon gasoline. It was 1944, and returning black servicemen were starting to question the America that sent servicemen overseas to fight injustice, yet practice racial injustice at home. As a glaring example of Philadelphia style bias, black people were barred from driving trolley cars, buses, or trains. This injustice was perpetuated by the Transport Workers Union, which excluded black people from membership. The Philadelphia Rapid Transportation Company, PRT, was able, like most all-white companies, to tell black applicants, "Sure, we'll hire you. Just join the union." In order to join the all-white union, you had to be referred by another union member. The ploy was legal and worked for years until black protesters, led by a fiery public school teacher named Goldie Watson, decided if black people were good enough to ride, black people were good enough to drive. My brother Calvin and I joined Mrs. Watson in picket lines that were set up around City Hall, union headquarters, and transportation depots. Fights broke out, and soon a mini riot erupted, pitting white union members against black picketers. Selected white business widows were smashed in the melee, which caused a Chinese laundry owner who lived across the street from me to jump up and down and loudly proclaim as an angry group approached his business, "Me nigger, me nigger." His instant charge of ethnicity evoked waves of laughter and saved his glass window. A court order ruled the transportation union's long-standing referral practice unconstitutional and ordered armed soldiers to ride with the first black motormen and trainmen to shield them from white attacks. Philadelphia and the union later conspired to get Mrs. Watson fired from her school position with the help of the infamous Senator Joe McCarthy and his witch hunt communist hearings. With the help of motion pictures, the United States government was able to transform Russia, a World War II ally, into a hated and feared threat almost overnight. And Senator McCarthy was able to connect anyone affiliated with the civil rights struggle to the communist enemy. Mrs. Watson was reinstated in her school position by winning her case before the United States Supreme Court, basking in her winning argument on the powerful First Amendment of the Constitution, which states, Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people peacefully to assemble. Let me repeat that again because the phone was ringing, just to reiterate the First Amendment of the Constitution, which states, Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Okay? Observing these incidents of injustice serve to remind me that every advancement of black people in America is preceded by determined demand and a struggle. I was steered to my next big step by the words of my old college professor. Now that does complete chapter 25. So stay tuned for chapter 26. It beeth thy will, I will talk to you regarding chapter 26. The title is Buying My First Home. So until then, I certainly want you to be well. Take care. And until next time. Later, y'all.